Capos are an absolute game changer. Being able to change the key of the song that you're playing is such an underrated but such a powerful tool that a lot of musicians don't utilize. What is a capo? A capo is this. What it does is it allows you to change the key of whatever song that you're playing in. The technical term for changing the key of a song is transposition, okay? Don't get that confused with modulation. Modulation is when you change the key of a song like in the middle of the song. An example of that is Layla by Derek and the Dominoes. So the main riff, like the that is in the key of D minor, but the chorus bits, that's in the key of C sharp minor. That's modulation. Transposition is when you change the key of the song like before you actually play the song. You want to need an understanding of the 12 notes in the order that they go in. If you don't know the 12 notes, I have a video that I'll link up in the corner, click the icon. But I'll give you a quick rundown. So the 12 notes are E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. All of the notes repeat on the 12th fret on the guitar. If you don't know what a key is, like the key that the song is in, what they are, go and figure that out first before watching this video. This video just won't make sense to you. It is an absolute lovely day today. There's not a cloud at all in the sky. It's amazing, I can hear all the birds chirping. So why would we want to change the key of the song that we're playing? So a lot of singers use this. So if you're a singer and you want to play a song, but let's say that it's in a really like sort of low pitch key. So let's say that the song is in G, C, A, whatever. And let's say that your voice can't really reach those low notes of the song, like it doesn't really sound right together. What a lot of singers do is they use a capo to turn the key of the song into like a more like higher pitched key, like A. Like, see how that sounded more like high pitch, even though like technically you can go down in pitch and it'll still be A, but generally that's what they use it for, to raise or lower the pitch of a song and change the key. Another thing you can do with capos is you can unlock a different sound for a song if you use a capo, right? So if you have a song that's in the key of G, if you chuck a capo on there and then you put it up to say the key of A, it still sounds like the same song, but you've like unlocked a different sound, a different characteristic, a different voicing of the song, which can sound really cool. We'll get into all of that later in the video and I'll show you an example of this. All right, so now I'll show you how they work. So think of all of the 12 notes in a circle, all right? We'll call this the note wheel, that's what I call it. So we go up in pitch if we go clockwise around the circle, and we go down in pitch if we go anti-clockwise, okay? So one whole step is on guitar, that's 2 frets. So one whole step is when you go up in pitch by 2 notes, okay? So if we start at G and we go up in pitch 1 whole step, we go to A. If we're at G and then we go down in pitch 1 whole step, that'll take us to F. Half step is when you go up or down in pitch by 1 fret. So if I'm on G and I want to go up in pitch by a half step, that'll take me to G sharp, okay? G, up 1 half step takes me to G sharp. And if I want to go a whole step up from G, which is to A here, half step, whole step, I'm on A now, okay? So if I'm on G and I want to go down in pitch 1 half step, that'll take me to F sharp, okay? I want to go down a whole step, that'll take me to F. Pretty straightforward, right? Changing the key of a song is pretty much the same thing when you're using a capo. So let's say we're in the key of G, right? G, C, D. Okay, so if I'm in the key of G, we had our chords before G, C, D. If I put a capo on the 2nd fret, okay? And I take the same chord shapes, G, C, and D. okay? But because I put a capo on the second fret, I've raised everything up by one whole step, okay? So before, when we were in the key of G, with G, C, D, now we're in the key of A, okay? Because we've raised everything up one whole step. So now we're in the key of A. Notice how the G chord, it sounds different. That's because it's been raised up one whole step. All of the notes have been raised up one whole step. Now it sounds like an A chord, okay? So listen. See how it sort of sounds similar? So this G chord, to the ear, to any other musician, that would sound like an A chord. To the ear, it sounds like an A chord, even though we're using a G shape. Same as our C chord. Without a capo, this is a C chord, it sounds like a C, but because we've got a capo on the second fret, this chord is technically a D chord. To the ear, it's a D chord, because we've raised everything up by one whole step. And that D chord, without a capo, it's a D shape, sounds like a D. When the capo's up on the second fret, raised up one whole step, technically that D chord is now an E chord. To the ear, it's an E chord. Making sense so far? Pretty straightforward. I'll show you another example. Let's say we're in the key of D, okay? Key of D major. So our chords, D, A, B minor, okay? If I put capo on the second fret, so D, A, B minor. So now that we were in the key of D, put a capo on the second fret, raised everything up by one whole step. Now we're in the key of E, okay? So this D chord sounds like an E chord. A sounds like a B chord. And this B minor, technically, that is a C sharp minor chord, okay? We're still using the same shapes. Everything has just been raised up by one whole step. There is a formula that you can use to work out what key you're in when you put a capo on. Okay? Pretty straightforward. So remember the note wheel, remember the order that everything goes in. You go up in pitch, you go clockwise, down in pitch when you go anti-clockwise around the wheel. So if we're in the key of G and we have a capo on the second fret, okay? All we have to do is raise G by how many frets that the capo is on, okay? So if you take the key of G and you put a capo on the second fret, what note is up in pitch by one whole step from G? So we go up in pitch by half a step, take us to G sharp, another half step, which is a whole step, take us to A, okay? If we take G, add 2 frets, we're in A. So take the key of G, add 2 frets on the capo, we're in the key of A. Pretty simple, right? Same as if we're in the key of D, and then we put the capo on the second fret, D, D sharp, E. We're in the key of E now. Pretty straightforward, right? This applies to any key, okay? Let's say you're in the key of C, and you have a capo up on the 4th fret, right? Same thing. We're in the key of C, and then we go up 2 whole steps. So if we're on C and 1 whole step up is D, another whole step up is E. So you're in the key of C without a capo, we're on the capo 4th fret, now we're in the key of E. Make sense? Now, when it comes to scales and licks and solos and that sort of thing, when you put a capo on there, it's pretty much the same thing. Nothing really changes. See if let's say I'm in B minor pentatonic. let's say I'm in B minor pentatonic and then I chuck a capo on the 2nd fret, right? So if I was in B minor pentatonic before and I put a capo on the 2nd fret, what key am I in now? C sharp minor, okay? One whole step up from B minor is C sharp minor, okay? So now, if I wanted to play in the same key, right? So let's say there's a song going on, I'm playing lead over the song's in B minor, but it's got a capo on the 2nd fret, so it's in C sharp minor now, and I want to throw a lick over the top, but still be in the same key. All I would have to do is go up as many frets as the scale was without a capo, okay? So B, this is how my brain works, right? You might be different, you might find some other method to help you out, but this is how my brain works. B is on the 7th fret, okay? Without a capo. If we put a capo on there, the capo becomes the new nut of the guitar. When you put a capo on there, everything starts from the capo, okay? So it acts as the new nut. So now, because the capo is the new nut and B was on the 7th fret before, to be in the same key, I'd have to go 7 frets from the capo. So I need to go on the 9th fret of the actual guitar, okay? Because 7 plus 2 is 9. I was on the 7th fret before. I add 2 frets up, so I'm on the 9th fret now. Right? Pretty straightforward, right? I'll show you another example. Let's say I'm in A major pentatonic. Right? And I chuck a capo on the 3rd fret, let's say. On the 3rd fret. Capo is the new nut of the guitar, okay? So, A is on the 5th fret without a capo. So with a capo, if I put a capo on the 3rd fret, which fret do I need to go on to play in the same key, technically? The 8th fret, okay? I was on the 5th fret before, plus 3, so now I need to be on the 8th fret from the capo. Sorry, the 5th fret from the capo, I'm tripping. 5th fret from the capo. Here. So technically I'm in C major pentatonic now. Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, so now I'll show you how you can use a capo to unlock different sounds with your song. Okay, so I'll tell you a story. So at the moment, I'm producing a song. It's a lo-fi song. It's in the key of E minor. And before, the chord progression went like this. So it was E minor 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, C major. That was the chord progression before. I was playing around with it, didn't really like where it was going, didn't really vibe with it too much. But I really like the key of C sharp minor, right? I think it sounds like sexy as fuck, right? Especially when you do all the minor chords as 7th chords. I reckon it just sounds sexy as fuck, right? Like that key is just like, imagine you're with your girl and you just like fucking, like you just going at it together. That's what it key is like to me. Like it's just fucking hot, right? And then, so because I really like this key, I thought, why don't I just play the same chords but in the key that my song is in? So if I'm in C sharp minor and then I whack a capo on the 3rd fret, now I'm in E minor, right? So I'm playing the C sharp minor 7 shape, but this is now an E minor 7 chord, and it's just got like a whole nother layer to it. I'll show you another example which is probably more relatable to you. Like, I know a lot of musicians, especially like my target audience, wouldn't really be focusing on the creative aspect of music yet. Like, a lot of my audience would be beginner to intermediate stages, and a lot of you guys probably aren't really into the creation of music yet, right? I plan to encourage all that to you because I think creation is the most important aspect of music. But for now, most of you probably aren't into that. So I'll show you an example of what I mean with a very well-known song, right? So at the moment, I'm learning Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. Normally that song is in the key of D minor, but what I have done recently is I put a capo on the 2nd fret, so that transposes the song into the key of E minor, okay? Which is what I've done here. I've transposed Sultans of Swing into the key of E minor. Sounds even better when you chuck like a D minor 7th over there instead of just a normal D minor chord. But anyway, you see what I mean, right? So I've transposed the song up by a whole step, and it just gives it a completely different vibe, a completely different voicing, a completely different character to the song. For me, it has completely changed, and I prefer to play the song in E minor over D minor. That's just me personally, I just think it sounds better. But a capo is an incredibly useful tool for musicians. There's a lot of possibilities, there's a lot of things you can do with it, especially from a creation aspect. If you're really into making your own music, writing your own songs, that sort of thing, I highly recommend that you integrate capos into your playing. I'm not saying you have to do every single song with a capo on it, you don't. But just play around with it. Even if you're not into creating music, just try it out, give it a go. Capos really aren't that expensive. Like, I think this one costs like 15-20 bucks from your local music store. Like, they're not expensive, but they're just so versatile. In the video, I just want to apologize. Like, I know I'm not in my usual recording setup. I'm not in my room and stuff. I'm in the park. I forgot that the cleaners were coming in today, so I kind of can't be home. So just fuck it, I'll just come to the park and record the video here. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please like the video, subscribe, ring that bell. My name is Seth Webster. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you around.